Guess what happened? The racial ethnic conflict began, and this interesting thing happened. The Somalis wanted time off the line for prayer. Now, we had a new situation. Workers who were coming into a plant in the mix of all these other realities and asking for time off the line for prayer. And of course, people began to get upset. The Latino community was upset. The white community was upset. The Christian community was upset. And we went in and basically started saying that this is not basically an issue about prayer. This is indeed an issue of prayer and the Somali right to have that time to pray if they wish. But for all the rest of the workers, it's an issue of safety. Because if 3 people go off the line at one station and 7 are left off a line of 10, the other 7 have to do the same level of work. And do they reduce the line speed? No. No. So 7 workers are doing the same work that 10 did. And we kept pushing and pushing and trying to have conversations and saying, this is what this issue is about for all the workers. But the Somalis have the right to get off this line for prayer if they so choose and so organize. And so we attempted to turn that issue over. And we were making very good inroads with all the communities on that front and many other fronts when Tyson decided to close the plant last January. And many of our Somali brothers and sisters left, of course, to go to other plants. The issue about prayer is a fundamental right that the Somali community has if you choose to ask for and push for that right. We believe it's a fundamental right that you have and that you can and should push for and that you should be supported in from the other religious communities and workforces. But at the same time, everyone has to work together and converse and talk to move toward a common approach to this so that it's to the benefit of all the workers in the plant, because the plants simply want to keep everyone divided. One of the Somali elders we worked with in Emporia stood up and said, yes, I've been in the plant, and here's how they put us on the line. Here's a Somali, here's a Latino. Here's a Somali, there's a Latino. So we can't talk to each other. And that's what the companies want to do. They want to continue to divide us. They want to continue using that system they perfected over a century ago. That's what they want to do. And if you get the prayer situation settled with the company, there will be some other issue, my friends. There will be another issue that comes along at some point. And I think it's important for us to understand as well that the whole situation right now is so difficult and complex because the United States government is putting such pressure on the Latino community, many of whom are undocumented, and that's no secret. And so many of you who are refugees have refugee status. You don't have to worry about whether or not the government's going to knock at your door tomorrow morning and take you and your families away. The Latino workforce does. Many of the Latino workforce workers have to worry about that. And so this level of competition is set up once again. Undocumented workers who were exploited by the companies, now you come in with papers, and then there's resentment by the Latino community against you on that level as well, and you see the mix that keeps on happening. And that mix is never, never, never to the benefit of the workers. Never to the benefit of the workers. And so it's important that we really take a step back and look at the history of these companies, look at the history of race in this country, and how people of color are always exploited by the white dominant workforce, by the white dominant owners in this country. And so I think it's critical that we really take that larger understanding with us as we continue this effort down the road in our communities and as African workers are growing as part of all of our communities across this country. It's critical that we really step back and look at this larger picture and find new ways to creatively work together and to creatively converse and build relationships among one another. The Latino community is responsible. We are all responsible. The white community is responsible for making sure that this happens. It's our responsibility and our opportunity to do this, because the companies won't do it. And they will tell you they won't do it. They will tell you it's not their responsibility. And they bring workers in. All over this country, we work in communities where they bring workers in and don't make any preparation whatsoever in the community. We work in one community in Missouri where the plant was located just outside the boundaries of the community and basically pays no taxes. And so they put many children and families into the school system, into the healthcare system, and they never pay taxes hardly to help support that effort. And then they wonder why people are angry. They're angry because the companies aren't, in many cases, paying their fair share. And so it's incumbent upon the religious community, and I would especially say to the Christian community maybe represented here today, it is incumbent upon the Christian community, which is so prevalent in so many of our communities, to step forward and to take a creative role and a leadership role in having these conversations and building these relationships so that we can all live together and work together across all of our faith traditions. It's the responsibility of the civic community to do this. It's the responsibility of all peoples in the community, so that when Africans come into the community, when Latinos come into the community, whoever comes into the community, it doesn't cause such an uproar as it often does, because the companies just want to, bring us in and never deal with responsibilities. They want to internalize all the profits and externalize all the costs on the communities. And so it's critical that we really use these kinds of times together to look creatively at how we're going to live together in the years ahead, and how we're going to live together in communities that are just and righteous, as our faith commitments call us to live. Every one of our faith commitments call us to live in justice and in righteousness with one another, to be supportive of one another, to be neighbors and brothers and sisters with one another, my friends, regardless of where we come from, regardless of what our faith tradition is. And so I hope that we will have this time together, that this will be a continuation of conversations so many of you have had, and the leadership, the tremendous leadership the African community has provided to get us to this place and will continue to provide, and the opportunities that all the rest of us must take to build the bridges, to build the relationships, so that we can look back upon these days, as difficult, as challenging as they may be, and say that indeed we did everything we could in our power and in our capability to make sure that the living waters of justice and wholeness and righteousness flowed over our communities, over our homes, over all of us in our time, that we did everything possible to make sure that we unleashed those waters so that all of our peoples, regardless of who we are, where we came from, could live together in harmony and wholeness. May God make it so, and may we do it in partnership with the Almighty. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Reverend. Well, we've gotten a very warm welcome on a very cold day from the mayor of St. Cloud. We've had speakers who've engaged important issues like citizenship and economic opportunity. And finally, the Reverend has talked, I think, very movingly about the challenges of race. And tomorrow, we're going to have more and deeper discussions about things like healthcare, education, employment, human rights, and economic development and housing. But for the rest of the evening, we are going to eat, and we're going to dance, and we're going to get to know each other.